This one I think has been the fullest experience, really. I think maybe because it's the last one, or the connection with everybody and having all that history. But I feel like we all sort of bonded more on this one, and it was really nice. What happens is something goes wrong. All the characters start to fritz out and act strangely. Teddy starts speaking as different presidents, and Attila gets very aggressive, and Dexter attacks me, and all of a sudden it's like this sort of bizarro world where everybody's freaking out, and we don't know what happened. And we see that the tablet is corroding, it's turning green, and something's wrong with it. And we have to figure out how to fix the problem. I didn't want the movie to just be, let's go to another museum and have another adventure and see what happens. It needed a reason for existing. And when this idea came up about everything sort of possibly ending and there being a finite amount of time that these creatures can actually come to life, and it being about these relationships and how people deal with that, to me that gave it a whole other level of just in terms of just as an experience. It just felt like, okay, there's a reason for this movie to exist, and a story that maybe you wouldn't quite expect to see. Sean is, he's got so much energy, and it's so important on a movie like this because it goes for a long time, and the energy of the movie, you want it to be kind of what it should be, even though the days can be long, or you're shooting in the middle of the night or whatever it is, and he really has to kind of focus all of that, and really he's very unique in that regard in terms of how he's able to do that, and I find him very entertaining on set, and unlike any director I've ever worked with in terms of how he sort of runs his set. And it's fun, there's always like humor, and there's always people, just feel included, and the process is, becomes like a family for sure. La is a Neanderthal that is on display, a new Neanderthal. He's a new Neanderthal that Dr. McPhee has had commissioned that happens to look a lot like Larry. And Larry discovers this at the beginning of the movie, and La meets Larry and sort of immediately decides that Larry is his father, his spiritual father, or maybe his genetic father, or his actual father. I don't know. He just thinks that there's a connection there, a father-son thing. And of course, Larry's a little bit sort of like this, funny joke that, Dr. McPhee did that. And then La ends up stowing away with the group because he really wants to be with Larry, wants to be like Larry. And he comes to London. It's always great doing these movies when you get to work with new people who, bring so much more to it, and yet also fit into the vibe of the film. And Dan Stevens has been incredible playing Lancelot. Rebel was incredible, so funny. I mean, just an amazing improviser, and she just has no fear, goes in there and just does her thing. And her and La end up having a little bit of a connection, and that was fun to explore. Really, probably the most romantic aspect of these movies yet. The thing about working with Ricky is, and Ricky is one of the funniest people ever, and McPhee, especially this character, has developed into, I think, a very, just funny relationship that Larry and he have, that also kind of has an emotional, basis too. I mean, because they do care about each other. It's just hard for them to express it. And so doing the scenes with him is always fun. It's a very warm environment that you want to come back to, because I still love the movies, and I still love the idea of it. I love the idea of everything coming to life. So it's exciting to be doing scenes where you're fighting a triceratops, or or you get to meet the Pharaoh, and it's Ben Kingsley playing. It's just like, it's just where else for me as an actor, I don't really get to do those kinds of things in other movies, and I wouldn't really feel comfortable doing them. But for some reason, this has always felt to me like, yeah, this is where Larry Daly's the guy who takes care of these creatures and these his friends, and there's a friendship thing there that I think is really real, and that's the friendships that they have and how they care for each other and take care of each other, look out for each other, and really, they're all about trying to be positive and create this place for kids to come to learn, and kids love it, and I love it. I love that that's what these movies are about. They're not cynical at all. There's definitely, I think, this tone that is unique to these movies, where there's an adventure and there's mystery, but it's it's a comedy, and that's a really hard thing to navigate. And I think any movie's tone is sort of its own thing, but this has a very unique tone to it, because you can have this sort of scary environment, and all of a sudden we stop to have a joke or something funny. And I think people, some people look at them as comedies, some people look at them as like kids movies, other people look at them as family adventure. I mean, there's all, I think that's what's kind of great about the movies, is that they can appeal to different people in different ways.